At universities, office hours usually describe time set aside for students to delve deeper into important but complex subjects to achieve a new level of understanding. We're reimagining that notion to bring new knowledge to the broader world because the cutting-edge research and discoveries made by our NYU Tandon faculty are too significant to remain behind closed doors. Welcome to our offices.
Our group is interested in making the Wall-E robots a real-world thing. We're building our own robots that can move and also have a manipulator on this mobile robot so it can pick up a box and then drop it at different locations. Talking about AI and robotics, people are always concerned about whether this is going to replace or reduce the number of jobs available to human workers. It's actually creating more opportunities.
I work in the intersection of data science and computer science. I'm interested in using geometry to solve problems in computer graphics, in visualization, right? And one of the things over the years that I got very interested into is how to enable humans to be more effective. And it's really about kind of like where data and humans meet.
I currently work across kind of three main areas. So I do work in healthcare, and then in other work, I'm currently working with community-based organizations in Manhattan's Chinatown. And then a third aspect of my work is around civic engagement. So I guess as an overarching view of what my research is interested in is how we can introduce smart technologies like artificial intelligence responsibly so that they are beneficial to the communities that might use them.
I graduated from the Department of Engineering, Science and Mechanics. My department, 1 year after I left, experienced one of the worst mass shootings ever, which took the life of one of my committee members. I was shaken by these events, and I kept for several years the idea of contributing somehow, helping if possible in identifying policies that could mitigate this incredible problem.
One of the main problems that I'm working on is how to secure what's called the software supply chain. Effectively, there are not very good controls today. And when I went and examined how other systems that were doing software installation were handling these problems, I found usually they weren't handling them at all. Russian hackers allegedly broke into large pieces of software used throughout the US government. And so things like this are very serious concerns that we need to address.
We are working on cellular reprogramming, by which we can push cells backwards in the development process. We can even make them younger, molecularly speaking, but also we can push them to go back to the cell cycle and divide, or we can even make them stem cells. We are not interested in just making people live longer. What we're really interested in is to make people live healthier for longer.
Human health has been a challenge since humans existed. We make materials that are very, very tiny on the nanoscale. And what we do is we engineer bacteria. So bacteria becomes our workforce. And the whole idea is to utilize those particles and sheets to treat cancers, treat diabetic wounds, to treat post-traumatic osteoarthritis. With the training that I received, I thought, okay, now I have the opportunity to address human health problems. So the hope is, if I work on this, maybe we can see something down the line.
So we leveraged a few forms of data, one of them being social media, to address problems of public health. So this often relates to all of the factors inside the hospital, but also outside, all the social, cultural, environmental, and other factors that drive our health and our quality of life.
We do research primarily focused on human-centered visual computing. Particularly, we group human cognition to combine that with AI. We develop novel AI models by understanding how humans behave, how humans perceive things with the help of VR AR, which help us to collect a massive amount of human data. And then we can use these AI models to make the display better and make the electronic system better as well as safer.
I do artificial intelligence for games and games for artificial intelligence. We're talking about how to make AI methods play games, but even more, how to make AI methods create games or help humans design better games. I also work with how can we use video games and other such benchmarks to create better AI methods. And what does this mean for the possibilities of creating artificial general intelligence.
I'm part of the cybersecurity group here at Tandent. I do research on privacy and security, as well as how it relates to AI and how it relates to sort of human-centered computing and human behavior. Increasing amounts of our lives are sort of electronically mediated. As a result, there are third parties that have unprecedented sort of windows into our individual lives.
DC Muse is our center for decarbonizing chemical manufacturing using sustainable electrification. And it's a consortium of several universities that are involved. NYU is the lead institution. They're looking at technologies that can avoid traditional processing, fossil fuels, and use thermochemical processing. You put this into a reactor and then you put it into a distillation column to separate your products. Looking at grid-rich renewable energy and using that to drive these electrochemical processes to get the products that we're interested in. So that could either be electrochemical reactors, microwave reactors, or plasma reactors. And then using newer ways of separating these products that we want in a higher purity form, such as membranes or using membrane separation.
The way that we have been using oil is harming our planet. And it's one of the hardest sectors to decarbonize because the chemical industry grew out of the oil industry. And as a chemical engineer, I think we have an ethical responsibility towards fixing that problem.
The problem I'm most excited about right now is the use of machine learning to improve the efficiency of chip design, to allow people to design chips faster, better, higher quality chips. There's a huge opportunity to use large language models and reinforcement learning to enable this goal.
Fundamentally, I'm a genome engineer. The main problem we're trying to solve here is the limited therapeutics that we have for people with diseases that really can't be cured. What we're trying to do is program the cells to have the ability to go in, find things, treat at the site in a way that we can program in a safer and more accessible way.
In my lab, we're focused on trying to start off with identifying what are unmet clinical needs. What are better ways that we might be able to screen for certain diseases, diagnose them, and then finally treat them. We specifically focus on the nervous system, this network of highways and roads that we have that innervate most of our body. And we're really interested in trying to develop new ways by which we can use this network to actually tinker with individual organs and individual tissues to see if we can better treat disease.
Being born anywhere and made in Brooklyn just got a little easier no matter where in the world you are. Tune in every month to Office Hours and learn how we are reshaping the future, one office at a time.